Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. If this video helps you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It is greatly appreciated and it really helps. Let's get to the video. Hello everyone, let's evaluate recursive rules for sequences. Now before we evaluate, let's talk about what a recursive rule is and how it differs from an explicit rule, because in previous videos we've talked about explicit rules for arithmetic or geometric sequences. So remember, an explicit rule gives a sub n as a function of the term's position number n in the sequence, whereas a recursive rule, it's going to give the beginning term or terms, if one or more terms is needed, of a sequence in a recursive equation that tells how a sub n is related to one or more preceding terms. And so in this video we're talking about recursive rules, and so that's the definition that we want to focus on here. So for the two examples we're going to look at, they just say to write the first 6 terms of each sequence. So for number 1, it gives us a sub 0 is 81. And then it gives us our rule, a sub n is equal to 1/3 times a sub n minus 1. So anytime we see this a sub n minus 1, this is just referring to the previous term, right? Because a sub 2 would be the second term, and so I would plug in 2 for n, 2 minus 1 would be 1. So to find the second term, I take 1/3 of the first term, right? Or the previous term before 2. So let's go ahead and just write the first 6 terms. So it gives us our first term here, or technically, I guess we could say the 0th term, or the beginning term of the sequence would be 81. And now from here on out, we're just going to take 1/3 of that. So for the first example here, I'll go ahead and fill in 1 for n and show you the work on this. And then for the last 4, we can kind of just do it a little bit quicker. So for a sub 1, we would say a sub 1 is equal to 1/3 times a sub 1 minus 1. Well, that's going to be a sub 1 is going to be equal to 1/3 times a sub 0. Well, we know a sub 0 is 81, and 1/3 times 81 is going to give us 27. Okay, so first term would be 27. All right, now the next term, as you can see, we're just multiplying by 1/3. So this would be 9, then a sub 3 would be 3, a sub 4 would be 1, and lastly, a sub 5 would be 1/3. So it looks like we're dividing by 3 there. That's the same as multiplying by 1/3. So just to recap, 81, 27, 9, 3, 1, and 1/3. All right, number 2, we have f of 1, or our first term is 23. And then our rule is f of n is equal to f of n minus 1 minus 6. So f of 1 is 23. We can go ahead and fill that in. And now for f of 2, let's plug that in. So f of 2 is equal to the f of 2 minus 1 minus 6. Well, the f of 2 minus 1 would be the f of 1. And then the f of 1 we know is 23. So this would be 23 minus 6, and we get 17. So now what are we doing? Well, we're just taking our previous term and we are subtracting 6. So we start off with 23. 23 minus 6 is 17. 17 minus 6 would be 11. Minus 6 would be 5. Minus 6 would be -1. And minus 6 would be -7. And that is how we can evaluate a recursive rule for a sequence.